welcome back, dear viewers. We're still covering with you live the Senate elections 2025 as with pride. We are covering this political scene and the participation of expats today as the embassies and also the consulates of New Zealand and Australia has opened the gates for voters to start casting their ballots. And to know more about this parliamentary and political scene that all Egyptians in Egypt and also abroad are participating in, and today we start with Egyptians abroad. I'm delighted to be joined by over the phone by Professor Reem Bodeir, Associate Professor at Graceland University in the United States. Dr. Reem, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Mom, and good morning to Egypt.
Thank you so much. So, when we start talking about the Senate elections 2025, it is very important to ask you about the significance of these elections and also to what extent is it important for all Egyptians, especially abroad, to participate in this political scene?
Indeed. Let me start with this message to every Egyptian living here in the United States.
Sure.
This is not just a vote, it's a voice. It's a message to our children that we never forget who we are, and that even from thousands of miles away, Egypt still lives in our hearts. Let us honor our country, our families, and our future by heading to the nearest voting point, because building Egypt isn't just the responsibility for those back home, it's our duty here too.
Yes.
About your question, the 2025 Senate elections are a critical moment for Egyptians living abroad because they reaffirm that the representation in national politics is not about within Egypt's borders. Egyptians abroad number over 10 million globally, according to the recent update from the Ministry of Immigration. While they may reside far from home, their remittance, which exceeded 32 billion in 2023, for example, and also they are a major pillar of the Egyptian economy. This financial contribution must be matched with the political inclusion. Sure. These elections allows people who live abroad to actively shape the legal and political situation by this participation in a national direction. We can recall in 2020 around 1,400,000 Egyptians around the globe voted in the Senate elections. That number, while promising, represents only a fraction. While improved digital tools in 2025, participation could be doubled, especially as awareness spreads.
Talking about the awareness, Dr. Reem, as you have touched the very important point, talking about the awareness, the political awareness, it has evolved all over the past years. How do you evaluate this matter in terms of the Egyptian expats abroad? Do you think from what you have witnessed that their political awareness is evolving, is it changing, and especially that we're witnessing this now in a very significant moment?
Absolutely. There has been a marked increase in a political awareness among the Egyptian people over the past decades, especially here abroad. Historically, many Egyptians abroad were unaware that they had a constitutional right to vote, but the presidential leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the technological revolution, this increased the political awareness. Indeed, with the educational campaign by the National Elections Authority and the Ministry of Immigration, wider media access, especially through digital and satellite channels like ITV, of course, social media activism, where communicate abroad share information in real time about the elections. So additionally, since the 2019 constitutional amendments, which include change to the powers and structure of the Senate, many Egyptians abroad became more connected to their rights and responsibilities. They have begun to see voting not just as a duty, but as a strategic way to influence homeland policy from a distance.
And to what extent do you think that the media has provided the necessary information, all the necessary information that expats needed to know when they start casting their ballots, and also the information about the Senate, the candidates? To what extent do you think this coverage fulfilled the needs of voters to know before casting their ballots?
Of course, like Nile TV and also with spoken English TV and French national TV like yours, this technology enhances the service and the transformation of technology and information in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also the National Election Authority, which introduced online registrations, portals, voter IDs, verification through embassy-linked applications and download ballots accessed via just a secure email. So the social media and the TV channels, the technological transformations, all these services reduce the barrier to participate with the time constrictions. Like for now, is after midnight, so there was a time zone gap, geographic barriers, complexity, but with the tool like a national TV channel, like a technological applications, and the great role of the National Election Authority, which I acknowledge always, alongside with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they did a lot of effort to facilitate the elections for people or for Egyptian people who live in diaspora.
Yes, let me make the best use of this interview, Dr. Reem, and talk about the Senate also. What role do you think the Senate is playing in enhancing the governance in Egypt, and to what extent do you think the Egyptian citizen, whether here in Egypt or abroad, knows about this role in particular, and to what extent do you think we can choose, and we know how to choose the people that are going to, or the Senate that are going to represent us in the parliament?
Of course, the Senate or Majlis al-Shuyukh serves as a legalization's advisory role. It doesn't initiate the laws directly, but it's essential in reviewing the key laws and shaping long-term development strategies along with the Egyptian government, along with the parliament, guiding national discourses on sensitive issues like constitutional amendments, civil rights, and economic transitions. For Egyptian people who live abroad, the Senate is especially relevant because it is the space where long-term vision is shaped. Issues like foreign investment, labor rights, migration policies, and dual nationality, which directly impact the people who live abroad, and often within the Senate review. By voting, the Egyptian people who live abroad help elect members who reflect their priorities, like, for example, candidates with experience in international laws or business can better advocate for streamlined investment procedures for Egyptian abroad. Without diaspora participation, this representation gap persists. So their vote doesn't just fill a seat, it ensures that Egypt's global citizens have a real voice in shaping its future.
Of course, I would like to thank you so much, Professor Reem, Bodeir, Associate Professor at Graceland University in the United States. Thank you so much for this participation with us on Nile TV International. And I would like to thank you so much, dear viewers. We have reached the end of this special edition. This coverage is still continuing on Nile TV International, so stay tuned for more updates on the top of the hour on Nile TV International.